as you all know, this is a webinar based off of HIVE content being imported faster and roughly a little bit better than other products out there. And today I am your presenter, Zachary Rico, and I do work here at ATG USA as a technical specialist. So let's go ahead and get this thing started and get it going. I do thank you all for coming in today and being here with me. So here we go. So the biggest thing that we want to look forward to is roughly this session is going to be about 30-60 minutes, and we're just going to kind of base it off of Windows storage, where most companies have their content stored and where they're looking towards and what they're going at. So we're going to compare, where the content is stored and is it really, does it have a searchability enough for users to grasp and go about it? Then we're going to compare the content storage as in, how much are we able to set in this specific, through HIVE, or how much storage can we have in there? What's our limit? What's our max on this? And then we're going to just compare some upload times of different, pieces that we bring in, whether it's, through Revit or different things like that. So we can see and go about it the way we need to or want to. And then after, we'll go ahead and get some questions going and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start this demo here, go about it and look through it and things like that. So first thing that we want to look through, especially in our HIVE, is, what, all this content can store and things like that, and kind of compare it to what our, what a regular Windows file can. So basically, when we start this and start HIVE, we have two different search options that we can go through. We can go through the standard search of, hey, click a library, see what's in there, or we have a save search from our previous filters that we want to go by, or you can have tags to, specifically find what all is going about it. So I'm going to go ahead and open this library up real quick here, and we already have some different content in here already. And as you can see, there's a different boatloads of sets and things that we can go about it this way. So the biggest thing that we can do is we can easily save these settings for if we want to and have a nice setup for it. Or we can, just go out about it in our normal habitat, in our normal way. We have that ability, and not only is this only Revit families right now, we can also add more stuff as templates and other, not only content. For instance, if we go back here and we go into this library right here, we can see we already have an HTML that we can bring in PDF. So there's that capability of, I say in many of my demos or many of my stuff, that I have this souped up Windows File Explorer. Now, the biggest thing that it comes to is when we go and we look through, our different network locations and things where we have all of our files for users to pull content, this can get filled up pretty fast. This just by what it can hold and what it can do. Neat thing about HIVE is it's cloud and it's network based, so we can set it up to where it's on, pulling from all of our network stuff or from the cloud, and all that storage there, it's unlimited. There is no limit on it. There is no stopping point. There is no, hey, you're about to, hit an end of what you can have or how much you paid for it. It's basically to however much you want in there, and we can easily see all that content just by going in and sliding over to see what our file sizes are. As you can see, there's tons and tons of files in here that take up so much storage that HIVE is being able to hold it all in. And if I scroll more and more down and finally go towards the end of this, there's over about 300 pieces of content in here already. So that's a neat way to, at least see and at least feel about what's going on here. And and different things like that. So this is just on the Windows version itself. So if we really wanted to use Revit content, we'd have to go into Revit ourselves, which I'll pull up here in a second. But we can easily still see that, hey, if I wanted to pull up a PDF here and I just double click on it, it's automatically pulling up and bringing all that information in. It doesn't take too long to go about it. It's kind of quick, kind of fast, on the dot, moving, and things like that. So I'll go ahead and close down the Windows version and go ahead and open up my Revit. And then I want to easily go to CTC Software. Sometimes it's CTC Express Tools, depending on which version of Revit you're in. Then I'll easily go to HIVE right here. That's in the CTC HIVE suite. And go ahead and open that up. As loading up here, I'm really going to kind of minimize this window here and bring in a files folder view and kind of compare the two of actually bringing this stuff or content in per se. So when it comes to our content, we really want to know what all is going on and what all is going to be needed. So if I'm just going to go in here and I really want to import something and I want to find it somewhere in here, it's going to take a while. So going in, we want to insert a family. Well, we got to go to load family. It automatically takes us to this US Imperial, which we all know it's just standard and that's how it goes. So if I really wanted to, I would have to go in and actually go back and find where my content is and look about it that way. And now, if I don't know where something is or I just can't remember, it's kind of hard and it takes time away from me actually doing my work and actually my project. So that's a downside to this. I have to continuously still go in and try to find it and see and even look to see if I have the right one in here. And then once I finally choose it and have to bring it in, it takes a little bit to actually bring it in. So that's not quite a fun, response time for it. So as we go about this, we'll see how Hive kind of brings something in. So if I want to bring in this piece of content right here, all I have to do is either drag and drop, or all I have to do is double click. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into my mechanical page real quick here, my floor plan. And this will be a lot easier to place the equipment in here, so I can either drag and drop as you do before, or I like to recommend doing the double click. And what this double click does is allows us to see actually more information on, hey, what, family type are we specifically even looking for to save, data of this project and things like that. So if I really wanted to, I could select a few and then load all of these types in, or I can load my specific ones and go in and about it that way. Look how fast it's loading up, ready to go. Click and go, click and go. It's that easy. Now that's just search itself. I kind of saved Discover for a little bit, later on, because this is, 50-50 on what users use. So if I go back to what I was looking at, easily I have to start out by picking one or more libraries. Then I have to come in and select the parameters I want. What all am I specifically looking for? If I'm looking for a different fan radius or fan length or kind of different things to help me out, and I can select multiple ones or one specifically, like if there's a tag that goes with it. For instance, if we just select this tag, there's already content in here. But if we want to go by airflow, we can easily do that, and it shorts down the list as well and shrinks this list. But what if I, get rid of and have a depth of 0.5, but I get rid of, this 0.5, and it really filters it down by parameters. It makes it easy, and we can easily choose and get rid of ones that we want or don't want just by selecting up here. So again, this is a 50-50 option when using search or discover for content that we're going to use or even upload. So now if I want to bring this piece of cabinet unit here in right now, all I have to do is, again, drag and drop or double click. And as I drag and drop in here, I can easily bring in and still go about it. I don't have to wait for that import and then go find it in the families and different things like that. It's ready to go. All I have to do is just, bring it in, drop it in, and move. And easily, even with it, still brings it into the specific family that it needs to be in the different areas and things like that. So it allows us to be more efficient and time saving, especially with our projects and even crunch time too, because we all have those areas to where we it's down to the wire. We got to get this out. There's still problems in there, and we need families in there immediately and changed out and switched out because someone said it. So Hive is our best option. Now, when it also comes to Hive and pulling that content, as I said earlier, it can pull from the best situation, either from the cloud or from the network itself. So we can easily pull those in and get those things going and get it running. Now, as we get into different things and further into things, we can easily bring in those, not only Revit content in here, but if I go ahead and uncheck this right here, I can also bring in other content as well as that HTML or the PDFs or even my parameters, master share parameters if I so choose to, and bring those in if need be and want to, and all that different scenarios and things like that. So this is kind of an easier setup for us to go about and do things like that. So with that being said, going back to our little presentation here, we know that from the topics that we covered that the content that's stored and its searchability is a little bit easier to find because we can go in and look through these different filters of when things were added by, updated by, what specifically we're looking for in different libraries and things like that. And it's a lot easier to find our information or what we're looking for specifically than it is in the Windows file, where we can easily get lost in all these different files and setups, and it can be all confusing. Another thing that when we compared our storage, we easily looked at how much information was already stored. We already had 300 pieces of information in one set of Hive. That was bigger and better than just pulling up a file explorer. It basically had that bigger ability and is not limited. It's the sky is the limit. There is no default to what it is. It's no extra money for extra stuff. It's nice, simple, and easy, and it makes everything better. And then our upload time. Our upload time was a lot better because comparing of importing a piece of Revit content or just a piece of content, it doesn't automatically start with us using that family. It just brings it in and says, okay, you're in. with us bringing it into Hive, we immediately brought it in and we're able to not only successfully go in and use the content, but we could easily select what pieces of information or content we wanted, to where it made it so ourselves easier. It made it easy to, get this workflow going, or things like that, and absolutely amazing on it. So that's, the best that we have. And then now as we go into, are there any questions so far? Any comments, concerns, things like that? You want me to kind of go back on or look into things like that? Alrighty, thank you folks for being here on this small little webinar on just, getting content and comparing it to just importing and valuing what Hive's ability to make things easier with, and get production in your, you know, information going. So I want to thank you all again for still coming in and leaving those nice comments and things like that. Um, my email address is on here. It is rico@atvUSA.com. So if you have any questions and further in depth, or want to get even more in touch with me, go right ahead. You can. And I hope you all make a great day or not. The choice is always yours.